Okay, slowly making progress. Right, where to begin? Let's start here. So I've put the intake halves together. I still need to clean up the seam join inside. I've done the rear, the face of it. I've managed to clean that up, but I still got to do the sides. This display tool is only good for that much, so you can't do the whole thing with it, so I'm just using the old tweezers and piece of sponge and just get in there and work it out, clean it up. Because there's no detail of a intake fan in there, it's just a piece of plastic. What I'll do is I'll prime this inside black anyway, but I'll leave the back of it black and paint the sides white. That way there's like a shadow effect in there. It's dark, you can't see that there's no interior detail to that intake for the intake fan. Hopefully that's my plan. This is also part of the I don't know if that's right. Wrong way around. Anyway, that's two halves, so there's another bit of a couple of seams to clean up for that. Just a couple of pieces of the nose gear. I'm all over the place. Weapons. I've finally cleaned them up. It's pretty painful. I wish they were one piece. It would have saved a heck of a lot of time. So I've used this Mr. Surfacer 500 and stippled on where the back screws onto the front section of the real thing. And just an old Tamiya brush that I've cut the bristles off and stippled it on. So this is like the fire retardant, and it's a small visual effect to a model. So these resin bombs have got those tabs that would attach to the pylon or the bracing of the pylon on the triple ejection rack. I need to take them off for the kit pylon, because they won't plug in. They'll stop so far because of the tabs. So you could, I guess, you could cut slots out for the tabs to go in, but I'll take those tabs off and I'm just going to glue them to the sway braces, the bombs. These sway braces, trumpeter do weird. So the part that mates to the pylon, they're not flat, they're like a 90-degree angle step that you're supposed to attach on, and I find them a bit frustrating and they're fiddly. So what I'm doing is I'm just taking that detail off and just gluing them flush, and I'll do the same on the side. So I've got to add two either side yet, so I'll probably need to remove a bit of that detail to plug them on, keep them the flat to flat of the join. Alright, as you can see, all these cockpit parts, I've started venturing into this area. So that's your kit pieces. I've just thrown it together so you can see difference in detail. And that's the resin seat compared to the kit seat. So obviously there's heaps of detail. That's got harnesses to go on it yet, which are supplied. The only thing is, as I feared, this is wider than the kit part, and so that's the kit plastic for the instrument panel combing, and that's the resin part. That's also wider. And what worries me, so you do need to thin plastic in the kit parts. The Aries instructions say so that you will need to reduce the shaded area, reduce the plastic thickness. So you can see I've removed, you can see this side that the kit plastic comes out. I've taken it away from the other side. My concern with this resin piece is it's wider than the kit part, and when it goes in there's really very little room left for this, so I can't see this working out, to be honest, unless I sand away detail of the combing, which is pretty pointless, isn't it? That's why you bought it, to show the detail, improved detail. But if that can't fit, I'm not thinning clear parts either. I don't want to damage it. So that may become a case of I'm not using the resin piece there, but I'll finish cleaning up this. So basically you're thinning that away so that your resin tub sits in, so I still need a little bit more yet. So that sits in there, and there is that still there? There is, so the side panels, like the where your arm rest is, there's photo etch that goes on there. So on there, which that's your kit one. Obviously that's a lot wider and a lot more going on, but your Aries one should be more realistic. And there is, the kit has that detail there, so I'm not sure yet whether I'll need to thin it. I might have to thin that as well. You got a bit of play here, you can thin, you see that step on the sidewall there, you can thin that off and you're not going to do any damage to the interior detail. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of work. Just quickly, I need to correct myself here. When I mentioned that photo etch going on, that's not the, I don't know why, I was just thinking that was instrument panels for the side. That's not, obviously, that's the instrument panels that match them ones. These would be for the locking mechanism for the canopy, I would imagine. So sorry about that. So looking pretty good. It's just a rough fit at the moment. What I've done is I put some, I sat the resin tub on the starboard side, stuck a couple of blobs of white tack under it to support it, to hold it there while I put the other fuselage half on, so it's not glued in position or anything yet, but it looks like it's going to be a good fit. And I've cleaned up this that excess, or the plastic I needed to remove, and I'm thinking this might also work, maybe. Maybe not. Yeah, still not sure about that one. Yeah, that won't fit because I've taken the plastic away. I'll work something out. It seemed like it might be close, so I might just need to I think I can get that. Work something out. The only thing is, so the actual sidewalls was minimal thinning. Really, it was just the that strip on the top is all you need to take. But when I fit, hang on, that wrong way. Yeah. So that your intake plugs into the side like that. Show it, do it in this piece. So that'll plug in. That's not going to fit now, obviously. So I'm going to have to remove that plug on the bottom. And hopefully that's enough. And I can take them off as well, or bring it down a bit more, but yeah, that all needs to be modified for a alrighty. Oh, listen to that lovely storm bird out there calling. Slowly getting this to fit. So I took this outside with my proper Dremel, the electric one, and sanded that block off the bottom so it didn't make a mess and not breathing in that crap. And I had to round it a bit on the corner where it rests on the intake, but you could, that's pretty thick. You can see the thickness of that plastic, which I have done on the front. I've scraped some of the plastic down because when I did that, that fits, but the front needed to drop a bit, so I've scraped that out to do that. But I have noticed that I will need to take some of this inner wall thickness away, because when I dry fit this, you can see how that sits, and when I pinch the nose in, you see how the plastic bends from there. Oh, that's, actually, sorry, that's better. I had it too far forward, but it's still bending. Hang on a minute, because I'm making sure that I can get the windscreen on. Yeah, the fuselage is too wide for the windscreen now. You can see where it wants to sit. A bit closer. There's a step, which means I need to thin that out more. And also I'm going to have to sand the bottom of this away somewhat, because that's not going to sit there because of that. Hang on, what do we got? I might be able to. That don't seem right. That's where it's supposed to sit, I think. Yeah, that's not right. Interestingly, they don't even show the instrument panel and the combing they show you building it, but they don't show you it sitting in the in position. I mean, it's obvious where it sits, but exactly, you know what I mean? You gotta, this working with resin modifications, it needs to all work together. So I'm gonna do some more fettling to get all this to fit, and I'm gonna have a look at Aries website, see if they got some images of that particular set. Alright, so I've put the photo etch onto the seat. You have to add some wire. These bits of photo etch, you got to add some plastic rod. It's the diagram is a bit vague as to, oh well, it goes there, but not specific enough for me, so I went online to look for the Aries this set, and I found a couple of images that helped me locate where things precisely sit. This tub I've added the foot pedals, the yoke, joystick, and the mechanism for the canopy opening. So being Aries, you have the photo etch instrument panel with the acetate bezels, instrumentation, so you need to spray the rear of it white so that the said instruments can be seen, and then you glue the photo etch on top of that. So if you use crystal clear and put it on and push it, the clear will come through those holes, and then when it dries it looks like glass. Where's the, here it is. So there's the combing for it. When I put on the, I got to add a piece of acetate for the HUD, but those bits of photo etch, and not this build, but most builds I do with when you're doing aftermarket, the brackets for the HUD are too tall, so always check. So I was just doing the dry fit and then sitting the windscreen on, and the windscreen was hitting those parts, so I've snipped them off with photo etch cutters so that they'll fit. So really they should look a little bit different to that, but it doesn't fit, and I really find those sorts of things annoying, because Aries are making this set for this kit, so in my books it should fit. I mean, they must get a kit to try it. Anyway, so I'm about ready to glue this in. Normally I would paint all that, but I'm going to paint it in situ this time, because when I get that in I have to glue those two photo etch parts on as well, and I can get at all that in there. This I'll put in later, but so the colour to the A7 is aircraft grey, which I can give you the paint number in Mr. Hobby is H57, I think, from memory. So I'm going to prime it black and then spray the grey, so it'll be a nice dark colour. But before I put that in and seal it up, I have to add the nose gear, because the nose gear, that part's alright, but there's pieces that go, yeah, come on, that pop up out of the fuselage. But I will have a look at that. So I might be able to get away with that, and by the looks of it, pieces broken off there, they're going to have to fix anyway, so I'll have a look at that. Can't remember how I did it last time, it's been years since I built one of these, so I'll look at that before I glue it, whether I can do it afterwards or not. If I can do it afterwards, all well and good. Normally you also would put in the kit engine before you close it up, but because I've got this to make up, I'll put it together and then I have to cut that, so there's that panel line. I'll do that when it's one piece rather than two pieces. I've also, as you can see, I've added a sinker, lead sinker there, so it's not a tail sitter, and again I can't remember now if the Corsair is a tail sitter or not, but no harm in putting something in there. Yeah, so almost to the stage of fuselage together. Okay, all glued up, and I've added in those latches, the side panels for the canopy closing. So I'll just leave the tape on there to hold it till it's fully cured. So next up will be, I'll add the intake ring at the front. So I've still got to clean up. It's a bit messy in here still. I'll patch up a couple of areas, but the when this goes in, it should be seamless, so I'll have to clean it up anyway. And here as well, where the intake joins to the fuselage, there's a gap and it's a slight step there as well, so I need to clean all that up. Intakes, so much fun. A7s, F16s, so large, you can see in there, so you need to do a proper job with them, otherwise it'll stand out. Yeah, so we can get all that sorted. We can start looking at, well, I'll clean up the seams on this before I do this, but the wings go on. I know it's not a popular, not a fan either, you plug wings in, but this kit, it's a pretty good fit. It plugs in and it sits nicely straight up, so it's not a huge deal, and it has some support, but that's how it is engineered. Yeah, so that, and then you got to start doing this, but I'm gonna have a bit of a break. I'm gonna work on something else now for a day or so, or a couple of days, just to get away from it for a minute. Especially when for me anyway, if it was just out of box, I keep on going, but when you're getting into resin and photo etch, and I get bogged down, and I'll if I just stay on this and nothing else, I'll lose the drive towards it. So it's give it a break for a couple of days and start fresh again.